tuning in one more of our episodes here at 5 Star Realty Podcast. This is Camila from MCN Marketing Firm, your host, and today I have the honor and the privilege to have Albert Shakhnazarov, a very well-known entrepreneur. Welcome, Albert,
Thank
to
you
our
for having me.
podcast.
Really appreciate it, Camilo.
Thank you for the patience,
Absolutely.
for driving all the way here. And Albert, I investigated a little bit about you,
Yeah.
but I want you to tell the audience how many companies and what kind of companies have you built from
Yeah.
scratch?
Okay. I mean, I've been an entrepreneur for the last 15 years. So from last 15 years, we have built over 7 companies.
Wow.
We have about 18 location franchise, which, I could consider those all individual companies, but we're not. It's just we're going to be one company. But yeah, over 7 companies that are started from scratch to becoming a 7, 8, 9-figure companies.
That is amazing. And you guys know we do MCN marketing firm, we build brands. And this gentleman right here built his own brand. You
Yep.
want to tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. When you are growing in a business and you have different phases, and those phases teach you what's important. It's no longer about the money. It's no longer about recognition. It's no longer about fame. You want to be able to build something that has a meaning, that has a purpose. And throughout my years, I was always looking for what's my mission. When you're young, you think your mission is to make, $10,000 in 1 month. Then it's $100,000 a month. Then it's to buy maybe a supercar. Maybe it's buy a mansion. So everything is almost connected to income, and everything is connected to personal gain. So when I started to become a little bit more mature, more wiser, and I said, you know what? I'm not getting any more happier from having all these materialistic things and achieving on personal gain. I need something bigger. I need something that's going to outlast me. If I'm gone tomorrow, then my kids could look at it and say, look at what my father, look at what my dad has done, and look at the amount of lives he has impacted. So I transitioned my philosophy from income to impact. And that's where Axelite was born. Axelite is a company that I hold dear to my heart. The brand behind it is taking people from average to elite. And this is not just talking about financial. It's not just talking about, mindset. It talks about everything, being a elite father, being an elite husband, being an elite family member,
Love
being
that.
an elite, business owner. So it's taking people from average in all aspects of their life and making them elite. And that is the brand behind what we do. We follow the 3 I's. That's the mission of our company, which is going out there and inspiring people, influencing people, and impacting people.
Oh my God, I love that. And I just love the whole concept behind it. It's not about income, it's about impact.
That's right.
And how you use still the impact with starts with an I.
Yes, yes.
I love that. Well, everything that you have said this couple of seconds, because it's not been couple minutes, it sounds like you're a very successful person. But we all think, society thinks that looking at you, successful man,
Yep.
oh, it was just given or it was just easy.
Yep.
And this gentleman we're talking behind the cameras a little bit, and he has an amazing story that I want to dive into.
Okay.
He's here to share it, and I would like to start with asking you, where you originally from?
I'm originally from Armenia, so that's where my bloodline comes in from. But I was born on the floor of a refugee camp in Moscow, Russia in 1991 when, there was a big war happening in Armenia and Azerbaijan where there's just conflict of interest, conflict of religion. And unfortunately, due to political reasons, my family had to escape Azerbaijan and move to Moscow, Russia. And the only way they could move there is by being secured in a refugee camp. And that's where I was born.
Were you how you were little?
I was,
you were-
I was, so when my mom and my dad escaped, my older brother is 5 years older than me. So 1991, I was born, and that's 3 months before that, that's when they escaped. So I was born inside the refugee camp during this whole time.
And then you guys were able to,
So we lived inside the refugee camp for the first 6 years of my life.
for the first 6
Yeah.
years of your life.
And the room was about 350 square feet. It's half of the studio. Yeah, and public bathrooms, public showers. We have 2 twin beds, which we use as, ability to sit and sleep in. I slept with my mom. My older brother slept with my dad. My dad worked relentlessly to provide for the family, 15, 16-hour days to be able to just get something. Sometimes it would be, having one meal. Sometimes we'll have 3 meals. It all depended on the day. Constantly, we would see soldiers. My dad would fight them. My dad would do anything he can to protect the family. And this was my childhood growing up. I didn't have birthday parties. I didn't have, celebrations, toys. Nowadays, everybody wants to go to Target as a kid. Everybody wants to go to trampoline park. I grew up seeing soldiers. I grew up, living in a small room. And I didn't know that that was not normal. I thought that was normal. I thought that's how everybody else grew up. And when we were watching movies, you'd think this is just not real. So you live in this, reality that you learn to appreciate, you learn to love. I never complained about not having 3 meals. I never complained about sleeping on a twin bed with my mom, or, not having my own shower or bathroom. This is what was given, and to us it was normal until I constantly saw my dad working hard to try to get us out of the refugee camp, and understanding why is he working so hard, and seeing my dad carry that purpose of, no matter how tired he was, if he had a broken foot, if he has, any health issues, sick, he would still get up in the morning, he'll still go to work, he'll still find a way to provide. And that has always inspired me to be a better father, a better husband. So, that being a child, seeing all that only made me stronger, not weaker.
I was just gonna say, as kids, we go through struggles in life. Ones have it harder than others,
Yeah.
worse than others. But we carry these memories and these experiences throughout our life.
Mm-hmm.
When you guys immigrated, which you were how old when you came to the U.S.?
To US, 15, 14, 15.
15.
Yeah.
So you had already gone past the refugee experience.
Yep.
And then you guys moved to where?
So the refugee experience for me was, part of life. It was normal because I didn't expect anything else. Once we left the refugee, right, we stayed in Russia. My dad had a better job. We lived in a better home. We had more of a freedom. We had more of just ability to just be normal in a way. But then politically, there was a lot of issues in Russia. So in Russia, there's a specific group of people back in 20 years ago. They're called skinheads. And those people, they were racist. And they would consider people like Armenians or people from Dagestan or Kazakhstan or, Azerbaijan. For any part of Middle East, they would consider them black. And they would call us black. And they would attack us just simply because we looked a bit different or because we had an accent. So we were not welcome. So my dad would, get coming from work, he would get jumped by 10, 15 people. And I remember my dad having his whole right side broken in pieces in the middle of the night. My older brother got multiple concussions and buried in the snow because simply walking from school. So we saw these changes that were politically happening in Russia. My dad was smart enough to take pictures, record. My dad's car was set on fire. Our home was broken into multiple times. And he said, we can't stay here. We got to find a new home. We got to find a new just way of a safe home, right? So he would go ahead and write letters to White House consistently, asking for help, showing what we were going through. And the White House has responded with the fact that there is a Catholic church that's willing to sponsor us for 1 month. And they're going to give us an opportunity to come to United States as refugees, okay, and come to Connecticut. And we're like, what is Connecticut? I mean, you watch movies, you see New York, you see Los Angeles, you see Boston, but you never hear of Connecticut. So we start looking at the map, and it's like small state between Boston, New York. And you're like, what is Connecticut known for? Connecticut is a capital of insurance and bunch of trees. I'm like, okay, well, better than getting beat up by skinheads. So we had to make a decision within 2 weeks to just drop everything and come to this country. one thing I admire my father for so much is that, and maybe you can relate because you come from Colombia as an immigrant as well, is the language, the friends, the culture, the family, everything that he has, built for the last, 15 years coming to Russia. He had to leave all that behind.
Mm.
And he wasn't 20 years old, he was 45 years old, 40 years old,
Start
going
all
to
over.
start all over, learn a new language,
How many siblings?
I have two brothers. Yeah, I have two brothers, one older, one younger. And he had to drop all of that and he had to come to this country and start all over because we couldn't sell anything of any of our stuff. We had to leave everything behind. We came to this country with $800, and on the day that we came to Connecticut, we were dropped off in JFK. Then we had to take a bus. We came to Connecticut. It was like 4 or 5 in the morning, still dark. We can't see anything. Same morning, 3-4 hours later, my dad got up, took all of his boys, and we started walking the strip where some of you may know if you live in West Hartford, it would be Park Road, Oakwood Avenue, right? And I don't know if you guys know, there's a store called Europe. It's a Russian store. We didn't know. So prior to getting to that store, my dad would knock on every business asking for work. No language. Literally a couple hours in the country.
Goodness.
Knocking on every door and saying, hey, do you have work? Do you have work? Do you have work? And not, people like closing the door. No, I don't have anything, blah, blah, blah. We don't even understand what they're saying. And then somehow, stars aligned and the God probably seeing how much my dad was looking for an opportunity just to provide. We knocked on this store that said Europe. And was like, well, maybe the European, maybe there's somebody who can at least relate to us. And it happened to be a person that spoke Russian. And then right there, my dad connected it. And they were like, yeah, I mean, we don't have much, but you can do this work or you can do that work. And we'll pay you here and we'll pay you that.
What year was this?
So what's 20 years ago? So we're in 2025. So 2005, 2006, around there.
Yeah. Oh, right before the crash happened.
Yeah.
My
right.
goodness.
Right before the crash.
And you were 15?
Yeah, I was 14, 15 years old.
At the time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so dad found a job.
Found a job, $5 an hour, cash, working 80 to 90 hours a week.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
Yeah. And my brother was going to high school. Also start working with my dad just to provide extra. For me, I felt a bit isolated because I was told just to go to school. For those people that are watching, they probably, like a lot of people nowadays, they see me on social media and like, I can't believe that's you. I remember you in high school. You were crazy. You were fighting everybody. You were suspended every week. And that was me because, the environment I grew up in Russia was always being on the watch out, on the lookout, aggressive, because you had to protect yourself.
Yeah.
So when I went to school here, people were making fun of me. I'm not wearing Nikes. I'm not wearing Jordans. I'm not this cool kid. I don't have the culture. There's a cultural shock. I'm in class. A teacher asked me a question in front of 30 people. I know the answer. I just can't answer it because, I don't speak the language. And the kids are laughing at you. And you're just like, man, this is very difficult.
Bullying.
Oh, big time. Big time. To me, living in a refugee camp was better than going to school. Because
I feel you.
Yeah, because in school I didn't deal with embarrassment.
Yeah.
I didn't deal with, people making fun of you. I didn't have to constantly try to, look for ways to fit in.
Yes.
And I remember
I so relate with you.
I was the guy, that would sack my pants and wear long shirts because the school that I went to, a lot of people were dressed like that. And I said, well, if for me to fit in, for me to be accepted, I have to be like them. And I remember, being suspended 13 times, being expelled on the 14th, sentenced to juvenile hall for 6 months in detention center on Broad Street. And I'm like, this is not an American dream. This is American nightmare. What is going on? I am away from my family. I am in a detention center. It's basically jail for kids.
Yeah.
Because of me fighting. And I said, I made a promise to myself. I said, once I get out of here, I'm going to change my life. I don't want to fit into anybody. I don't want to be like anyone else. I'm just going to focus on what I need to do. So and that's what happened.
Definitely we can see from your behavior in school that this whole experience that you lived prior to coming to the US where affecting your life, trying to start from zero in another country, in another culture. And I totally feel you, because when I came here, I was 12, 13 years old, and I couldn't wait to graduate. I graduated I didn't even do senior year. I had all my credits.
Nice.
And I'm like, I want to get out because this is horrible.
Yeah.
High school was, I went to public school, so I don't know the difference. And like private school might be better, who knows? I was in private school back home, coming to this craziness here.
Sure.
I was like, holy cow, I couldn't wait to run away.
Absolutely.
But we can see how this behavior has obviously some connection or a lot to do with what you lived. When do you realize, maybe I need to change my mentality. Maybe I need to adapt.
I know exact moment, and that was when my dad came to visit me in the detention center, and I'm sitting there, and there's a bunch of people visiting their kids.
You probably were already like 16.
I was
18.
15, 16, around that time, and I'm sitting there, and my dad is super angry, mad, disappointed, frustrated. You can tell, right? And also in pain, because he dropped everything to come to this country, and his son is sitting inside the detention center.
Were you the only one getting in trouble?
Yes. I was the only, out of everybody, I was the only one to get in trouble. I'm the black, I don't like to call sheep because I don't believe I'm a sheep. I'm a black wolf of the family. Like, I'm always doing something opposite of what everybody else is doing. I'm the only person out of my family that didn't graduate college. I'm the only person that always did something that's like, why did you do that? Come on, are you serious? God. My dad was sitting there, and he's like, I am so disappointed in you, and I'll never be proud of you. I dropped everything to come to this country, and you couldn't just go to school. And he walked away. I mean, when I say the feeling, when people say, my heart's broken, like, I truly felt that my heart broke that night. And being in the detention center with other guys, you can't cry, you can't show weakness. But I cried. I cried deep inside. Like, the whole night, I'm just in pain. And I made a promise. I said, I'm gonna get out of here, and I'm gonna change my dad's perspective. That I'm gonna make him proud of me. And I took the sports very seriously. I graduated as hard as it was. My GPA was 2.1. I didn't care about school. I didn't care about none of that. I wanted to, do it just so that way I could make my dad proud. And I'll tell you what, a lot of people confused education with school. School does not mean you're going to be smart. School does not provide you necessarily with education. And I want to make sure people don't confuse this, but I didn't learn anything in school. I really didn't. To me, it was a big waste of time. However, I think school teaches you how to be on time. School teaches you discipline, how to wake up early in the morning, how to deal with weather, how to deal with people. And that's what it gave me. It gave me
a system.
It's just like a system, right? And it grades you based on your testing ability. So if you fail the test, you're a failure, right? So today, my kids they don't go to private school. My kids don't go to public school. My kids are homeschooled. My kids are homeschooled. We travel the world together. We teach them, and we put right things in their mind, the things that they need, the things that are going to help them in life. And that's, to me, was the moment where my dad told me that, hey, I'm not going to be proud of you, but that's the moment that I made a decision to go ahead and change it.
That's when it clicked and you said,
oh yeah,
it needs to change.
Big time.
So what do you decided to do? You got out, and what do you did?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So there's a difference between being driven emotionally, right, and having a plan. So here I am, 16 years old, making that decision. So, okay, I'm going to go play soccer. I'm going to be the best soccer player, that there is. And I did pretty well. I was reading in multiple newspapers, varsity, making all these awards consistently. And then going to college. Okay, well, this is what everybody else is doing, so I must go to college. Well, Dad, what's going to make you happy? Because I want to make my dad proud. Dad, what's going to make you happy? Oh, become a cop. See, you had a bad past. You were, in the detention center. Now everything's passed. Why don't you become a police officer, FBI agent, so you could be good? Okay, that's going to make you happy. No problem. I'll go do it. But then I'm doing it and I'm not happy. So, do I go and do it and make my dad happy, or do I go and do it and make me happy? Well, what makes me happy? I love sports, playing soccer. I remember playing soccer, and one day I get hurt. And I said, oof, okay, now I'm not the same. Injury now, right? I'm not as fast. I'm not as strong.
Right.
So something happened in my life that really forced me to become who I am today. And what happened was my dad had a heart attack. And when my dad had a heart attack, he couldn't work no more 80, 90 hours. And when he had the heart attack, I was still the kid that wanted to play soccer. And I was still the guy that wanted to chase the women, party, have fun. Because now, after a couple of years, you're now Americanized. You're now fit in. You now fit in, right? now because you score goals, you play soccer, you party, people start to like you.
The cool kid.
Right? You're a cool kid now. And I remember going to a club at 10 o'clock at night. It's a pregame. We just finished soccer game. All right, guys, let's go get ready. Boom, boom. I come home 9:30, 10 o'clock. I get ready and I see my dad coming from work. So I'm like, oh, hey, Dad, boom, boom, boom. No problem. I'm going out. Okay, bye. 3:30 in the morning, 4 o'clock, 3:30 in the morning. I'm coming back from the club. Okay. I'm a bit tipsy. I look at him and I see my dad sitting at the kitchen table drinking tea. And I'm walking in. I'm acting like, I had nothing to drink. I'm like, hey, what's going on? He goes, nothing. I'm going to work. He gets up, goes into his car, drives to work. That night, I'm laying down in bed. I'm like, hold on. When I went to the club at 10:30, 10 o'clock at night, he was just coming back. I'm coming back, and he's going back to work. And this is already after the heart attack happened. So I'm like, yeah, man, something has to change. I have to find a way to provide. I have to find a way to this going out, chasing a dream of soccer. It's just not going to, it's not moving me. Nothing's happening. It's not helping my family. So
how old you were at that time? In your 20s? Early 20s?
17, 18.
Oh, God.
Right? Going into that moment of first year of college. Right? 18 years old. And I'm like, yeah, I want to drop out. I'm going to look for work. Until I find a work, I'm still going to go to school. But I'm going to look for work, and I'm going to start providing. So I started to look for work, and I worked all my life. I worked at warehouses. I worked at restaurants, and nothing ever paid good. So I started to do research. What will pay me good? Start asking people. And people said, listen, one of the things that really can pay you well is sales. But it also can pay you nothing. So it depends. It depends how good you are, but you have to work very hard. So then I said, okay, then sales it is. Do you need college degree? No, not really. If you're good, you don't need sales. You don't need college degree. You don't need it. So I started to look for opportunities in sales. Found an opportunity, and everything else was a wrap. I quit college. My dad was pissed off, kicked me out of the house once he found out that I quit college. It didn't matter to me. What mattered to me is that I made a decision. And constantly when I make these decisions, me having a conversation with myself, understanding what's important, feeling the right decision through, my gut feeling. And when my dad kicked me out because I decided to drop out of college, it hurt. I slept in my car. I slept at my friend's house. I showered in the gym. I did whatever I had to do. But 2-3 weeks later, my dad called me and said, I love you. Come home. I'm worried. I came home. 2 months after that, I got my own apartment because I said I need to be able to separate myself from my dad because I don't want to bump heads with my dad because he's constantly telling me to go back to school. And the best decision I ever made is to not go back to school, is to pursue the dream and professional career of becoming a salesperson.
It was so good that you gained a nickname.
Yes.
The Young Hustler VX3.
That's correct.
Tell us a little bit about that nickname.
Yeah. So soccer field, wrestling mat, work, doesn't matter what I did. People always say, man, this guy hustles. This guy doesn't just stay still. So I always hustled, but I never understood what the word hustle meant. And the word hustle almost has a negative connotation to it, right? But to me, what hustle means is that you're making moves. You're doing whatever it takes to be able to get ahead. You're not standing still. You're not allowing the life to beat you up. You're going to take control and you will figure out to make something happen. So people kept calling me, oh man, look, this guy's a hustler. So my thing was, well, I want to stay young. I want to stay hustling. And I want to make sure that I make a lot of money and I can make a difference. So people started calling me a young hustler. The VX3 thing is, something I live by. And I have a tattoo right here and it says, Veni, Vidi, Vici, which translates, I came, I saw, I conquered. And it's a reminder for me that I came to this country, right, with a purpose. I came to this country with something in me that cannot be taken away. And what I saw was there's other people who had absolutely nothing, who were also immigrants, who maybe be in the worst position than I was. And what I saw is that they were able to break through. They were able to make it. And if they did it, so can I. And then the last one is I conquered. And I always, pictured myself being this successful guy. And success is different for everybody. For me, success was being able to retire my dad, being able to provide for my family, making sure that, the society, the government doesn't raise my children, and love my wife, love my people, love people with not being able to get something out of them, but being so good, so in control that I don't need anything from anyone, but I'm able to give them more than I can take. And that's what kept me pushing.
I love that whole concept. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
sharing.
Absolutely.
I love it. We're talking about it behind the scenes,
Yeah.
about the tattoos, and I'm like, the Young Hustler. Okay, that's a nickname. That's a company. Let me ask you, what do you found first? You found love, or you found entrepreneurial life?
Well, I'll tell you what. I found entrepreneurship first.
Okay.
But what made me a better entrepreneur was my wife.
Your wife.
Yeah, who really made me dig deep and believe in myself. Because we all have self-conception. And our self-conception is, oof, I have an accent. Oof, I come from a different country. Oh my God. We always look at all the negatives. My wife was able to bring out all the positives in me. And she fed that confidence in me. She always told me that I'm going to be great. She always told me that I'm going to be a multimillionaire. She always told me that I'm going to be successful.
I love that. What's your wife's name?
Ashley Gonzalez.
Ashley.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ashley.
Absolutely. I mean, this woman is my rock, my queen, and I am grateful for her because she's a fantastic mother. She completely, because of her, our household is where it is. Our kids are homeschooled because of her. She protects them with her life. She will do anything to protect the family. And she did that for me. She put me on the right path to know that I'm the one. That I'm the one that's going to make it. I'm the one that's going to make things happen.
So she found you.
Yeah.
She met you when you were starting on your career?
She actually met me at the worst time of my career. Yeah. It's, I lost my business. My business died. And I was basically going through this, I would say, realization of should I continue my entrepreneurship or should I go get a regular job?
Don't we all go through that?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And because it's tough, right? You max out your credit cards. You're broke. You don't know if you should buy a sandwich or pay for a toll to go to a different state because you have a training there or because you need to meet a client. You don't have gas. You don't know what to do. You stay in Starbucks because you don't have an office, and you have one cup of coffee for 8 hours, and you're pretending like it's still full so that way they don't kick you out, and all those things. So I was going through the worst part of my entrepreneurial journey. And when I was trying to be an entrepreneur, she had a full-time job.
Okay.
And she believed in me that much that she said, you know what, I'm going to go and put extra hours at work so that way you could go and focus on building a business.
You guys were already married?
No, we were just dating.
Oh my God.
So, when I met her, I told somebody, I said, I'm going to marry this girl. Right? and funny enough, she was in a relationship. So I didn't know. And then when I asked her to go out, she said, I'm sorry, I'm in a relationship. So my follow-up game was very strong, right? This is where a good salesperson in me came in. And I just waited. I waited. I planted a seed. I waited when things will fall apart with her boyfriend, that I'm going to be ready to close the deal. And exactly what happened, you know? The advice for the guys, it's okay to be in the friend zone. Okay? It's absolutely okay to be in the friend zone. As long as you understand, right, that, and you respect that.
You had the eyes on her.
I knew that this is the type of woman that I wanted to be with. Like, when I say in terms of looks, fantastic, incredible, right? But also personality, right? She's very strong. She's not just, you know, she's not like any other woman. She doesn't just follow the trendy things. She knows what she wants. She could be completely opposite of what everybody is doing.
The Latino on her.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
But more so the Puerto Rican on her.
Oh, yes. I love that about my wife. And to be honest, it was difficult. It was very difficult. But I waited, and sometimes when you wait, good things happen. And we clicked. 3 months later, we moved in together. Yeah, and then, you know, unfortunately, my business was going through some hard times, and she said, I got it. I'll carry you.
She was there as a pillar.
She was there as a pillar. And I promised her, this is the beautiful thing about, you know, keeping your promise. I promised her that every 6 months, our lives will get better. Every 6 months. And I said, all I need is 6 months. And every 6 months, our life got better. She wanted to buy a house. That was her dream home. Boom.
Got it.
Baby, you got it. She wanted a specific car. Baby, you got it. And the reason why is because when I was at the bottom, she didn't let me stay there. She picked me up. And then I made a promise to her that you'll never have to work in your life again. You'll never have to worry about anything. I'll give you the entire world because you deserve it. And I kept my promise. She kept her promise. And, you know, we've been together now for 14 years, 13 years. So
that's a blessing.
Yeah.
You don't see that often.
And people, you know, people fall out of love, right? But I can proudly say today I'm more in love with my wife than I ever been. I mean, seeing our children, seeing everything that we have built together, I am more in love.
You guys are parents of 4.
Parents of 4, exactly.
And you're coming from this tough childhood that you had, all up until like teenager life, pretty much. Seeing your kids growing up in a different atmosphere.
Yep.
Do you think that's success?
You know, I don't think that's success. I think what success is being able to teach my kids, despite of what we have, they need to remain to be a good person. I think that's success. I think, you know, my wife and I are very strong in terms of morals. Like our kids, you know, they have business. They make money. They have multiple vending machines. They're doing a lot of different things where they're buying things, selling things.
What ages do you have?
So 9, 7, 3, and 4 months.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah. So 4. Yeah. So it's 2 boys, 2 girls. They have money. They have investments. We set them up correctly, but they work for everything. They work for everything. They understand respect. Just because your parents have money, or just because, you know, your dad and mom are successful and you live in a good home, it doesn't mean that you have to not learn the important things in life. I think nowadays people forget what God is. People don't want to teach kids about God.
Right.
I think people are confused. They want to confuse our children about different things that really, really steals their innocence. So for us, what makes us successful and what makes us proud is not what we have, is not forgetting where we come from and being able to instill that to our children.
That is so beautiful. How do you identify and develop leaders within your organization?
Yeah.
And then we're going to dive in a little bit of, because let's break it down. You know, you have acts, financial, capital, and diversity.
Yeah.
So I want you to identify the leaders within your organization and break down the programs that you have.
Yeah. So, I mean, we have different companies, right? all these different brandings that we have. We have Axe Financial, we have Axe Elite, we have Axe University.
Reminds me a little bit of Grant Cardone.
Yeah. Well, the problem here is that when you build businesses, right, you want to be able to diversify. And a lot of times we diversify. We can't be diversifying doing the same thing. You have to build companies that ecosystemized, right? So our Axe Financial supports our Axe Elite. Our Axe Elite supports our Axe University. So they're all interconnected together. And that's what's important, right? You want to build businesses that support each other, that don't work against each other. But you asked a question and you said, how do you identify leaders? And a lot of people in any company, they want to find good people. And I don't believe that you can find good people. Okay. I think if you find good people, they will leave you because they will always be on the spotlight of, okay, where else can I get $1? Where else can I go? Right. I believe in building people. And that's where we spend a lot of time identifying your key strengths, your key weaknesses, so we could work with you. And then as we work with you, we work on 3 things, right? Your mindset, your habits, and your skill. So if we can work with those things and we can work on bettering your mindset, bettering your skill, bettering your habits, then you become a leader. You become a leader in your life. You become a leader in your company. You become a leader all around. So we don't go in and say, oh, Camila, you look fantastic. You look like a leader. Let me take you in and make you a leader. Everybody in every single company that we have, they have to build themselves to become a leader. So they're not just given a title. They're not given a position. They have to go through the trenches of starting as a sales agent and move themselves up to become a leader.
So here, the college doesn't mean anything. No certifications mean anything.
No.
You have to go through the chain.
And the reason why is because I don't have a college degree, right? And I had to go through picking up the phone, learning the sales, learning call calls, doing all those things. And I became a CEO of multiple companies, founder of multiple companies. If I can do it, so can other people. They just need the proper training, proper structure. And a lot of times people confuse. They say, I want to be my own boss. What does that even mean? Well, I want to create my own schedule and I want to do whatever I want. If you think that's what being your own boss means, you have the whole thing confused.
Albert, thank you so much. I would like to ask you, what are some challenges that you see coming in all the salespeople that are maybe starting with you guys in your programs?
Not just with us, because we like to address the challenges head on, right in the beginning. So we actually, in our company, what we do is that we have a strategy appointment prior to hiring them. And we go over all the challenges that they're going to face, so that way they actually know exactly what they're going to be getting themselves into. But most salespeople, and I see that a lot in a lot of industries, is that they want to go and catch a big fish right away. They don't invest their time into really building the skill. I look at sales as a sport. I played sports all my life. And if I wanted to be great at sports, I had to dedicate time into practicing, to developing my skill, making sure that I understand, okay, what makes me great, what makes me lose sales. And a lot of times people come into sales, they just want to be able to make money, and they don't look at in a way where they want to make a career out of it. They're just looking to say, I just want to make a sale, and I just want to get on the phone and hopefully somebody will say yes to me. Sales is not about getting people to just say yes to you. A lot of times new salespeople, they confuse what persuasion is. And persuasion is not about making you believe in what I'm saying, right? Oh, listen to me. I'm telling you, trust me. That's not sales. Sales is about you feeling that what I say, I believe in. And that's a huge difference. If you can feel what I say is true and I believe in what I say, then I don't need to convince you, because you will be convinced through my energy. And a lot of people make a mistake is that they just want to use fancy closing lines. They want to be able to know how to handle objectives, but they don't believe in the product that they sell. They don't believe in the company they work for. They don't believe in the industry they represent. And they just want to pick up the phone and they think magically they're going to make a sale. And that's not how it works. If you want to be a professional in sales, you got to be dedicated to the career, not just to the income.
I love that. And make that impact, right?
Yes, exactly.
Make the impact with the person. I think nowadays, I come from selling cars.
Okay, nice.
So I did car sales for 10 years.
Okay.
And I was a salesperson. And the guys, obviously, that were there for 10, 12, 15 years,
Yep.
how is this Latina just selling all these cars, you know? And women feel comfortable, obviously. But even guys will tell me, it's not really your script. It's not really, it's not really the car. Like they were looking cars for their kids and stuff like
Sure.
that. It's your personality.
Yep.
So I think sales is not for everyone,
I agree.
right? But I think if you can get to master a little bit how you interact with people, how you're going to approach people, I think that will make you a better salesperson.
And yeah,
Or will
100%.
set you up for success, because practice and skills, there is a ton, right, of training and stuff you can do online. But if I don't know if you don't have it within you,
Yeah.
like it's just not gonna flow.
Yeah. And a lot of times people make excuses. They say things like, oh, well, I cannot sell cars because I don't like cars. Well, that's not true. Everybody likes cars. You're just choosing to tell yourself you don't like cars because of your lack of result of selling cars. So a lot of times we have this negative self-belief in terms of what we do and why we do it. And that's why people are not successful in it, because they're not willing to commit. And they jump from industry to industry to industry. And those are the type of people that create a bad name for a sales industry. You know, a lot of times back in the day, right now, sales is a bit more popular than back in the day when I started. When I started, sales people were, oh, they're snake oil salesmen. They're not. If you're a salesperson, it's the lowest position in the world, right? You probably didn't graduate. That's why you're doing sales. But people nowadays, they want to pretend to know how to sell, and they want to jump from industry to industry to find a magic bullet. It doesn't work that way.
Albert, we're cutting a little short here.
Yeah.
And I would like to start wrapping it up. But before we go, I wanted to ask you this beautiful question. I think it's so beautiful. If Mila,
Yep.
Leo,
Yep. And Aurelius and Leah.
And Leah
Yeah.
were to listen to this episode
Sure.
10 years from now,
Okay.
what would you like the message to be? Because we talked about early beginnings, childhood struggles,
Sure.
immigrating to another country,
Yep.
how you found true love and
Yeah.
she was the pillar.
Yep.
And we talked about your programs, your branches, your businesses. But truly, if your kids were to listen to this episode, what the message will be?
Honestly, I think the message should be very straightforward. And we talk a lot about this in our home, is that when God wanted to make David a king, he didn't give him a crown. He brought him a Goliath. And I would love my children to understand that if you want something in life that is great, that is worth having, that is, something that you desire, that you're going to see challenges and you're going to have to face those challenges. Don't be a coward. Don't be somebody that avoids the actual problem. Face your problems, right? Be the David and beat the Goliath. Because if the Goliath is coming to you, that means there's a David inside of you.
I love it.
Right? And that means you're capable of conquering whatever it is that you're after. So my advice to my children would be, go after what your dreams. Go after what you desire. But understand it comes with a price. And be willing to pay the price. Be willing to die for what you love. And that's the most important lesson.
I love that. I love that. And before we go, I would like you to look straight to this camera and tell everyone, where can they find more information about you? Where can they follow you?
Absolutely. You can find me on Instagram, Young Hustler VX3, or Facebook, Albert Shakhnazarov, or our website at axely.com.
Coffee or meditation to start your day?
Coffee, 6 shots of espresso.
Favorite book or quote to change your perspective?
Favorite book or quote? Oof, that's difficult because I have a lot of different books. I would say I'll give you a quote instead.
Okay.
Okay. If you're not making someone else's life better, you're wasting your own.
Good. I love that. A word that describes your 2025 mindset?
For me, is relentless.
Okay. One thing you had tell your 18-year-old self.
That I would tell my 18-year-old
Mhm.
self,
A good one.
honestly, I would tell him the same thing I did, go into sales. So that would be it.
Going to sell.
Yeah.
That was just the solution to your equation.
Yeah. Or find my wife sooner. That would be another one. Yeah.
I love that. Albert, from the bottom of our hearts here at 5 Stars Realty Podcast, we thank you so much for this this beautiful, beautiful episode. It really touched my heart.
Yeah.
And this is what I love about, bringing in successful people, because they didn't have it pretty.
No.
It looks pretty.
Yeah.
Very handsome guy right here.
Thank you.
But, you had the struggles. And
Yes.
I just love that you wanted to share this with the audience.
Absolutely. I want to thank you for, your great hospitality. Guillermo, you guys, every single one of the members I met here, you guys have been nothing but fantastic. So it was a great story to share. It was a great episode to share with you. And hopefully we can do something else together.
Absolutely. We were just talking. We're going to do two different parts of this, because it's
Okay.
so good. Like
Yes.
the beginning was just almost 40 minutes.
I know.
So.
I know. We'll do another
We
one
love
for
it.
sure.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning in one more time here at 5 Star Podcast Realty. We see you next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.